Joe and Chantel tell you who is going to show up,
Do your job well. It could be enough to make the difference.
who is going to show out,
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
and who is going to be a shit show.
Yeah. So y'all need to work out mode.
All right, here we go. Who is going to show up? Who is going to show out? And who is going to be a shit show? Wild card edition. Let's go. On to the shit show.
Oh, this was
Quarterback.
hard because these are all really good teams.
the
So
playoffs.
I mean,
You're all
you know, we take the term "shit show" with a grain of salt, kind of in this
Yeah,
one. I
oh,
mean,
definitely.
they're not bad. So my guy for the shit show, C.J. Stroud, actually.
He's having a bad year.
He's having a pretty bad year while the Texans defense will be doing their job and then some in this matchup. I cannot say the same for C.J. Stroud. This has not been the season we thought it would be for the Texans. And Stroud will, I think, continue to be chased all over the field by Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, and will probably be put in the dirt a couple times too. The Chargers are a number one red zone defense, and the Texans have struggled in the red zone all season long. So this will be a tough one for C.J.
That will be a tough one. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of aggression this year, but he's a second-year
Yeah.
guy, and you can expect that. For me, this is not a second-year guy. This is a veteran who has a Super Bowl ring, and it's a Man of the Year award winner, and married to a pop
Oh,
star.
come
and all that stuff.
on, Joe.
Oh,
Come
Russ.
on.
His regression of the last 3 weeks continues. He had a bad game against Cincy, a bad game the week before. I expect another bad game
Oh,
here
man.
in So, again, these games that are outside Baltimore and Philly and stuff, check your weather because they had terrible snow. Make
Okay.
sure as the weekend rolls around, be sure if you're going to put any bets down or anything like that.
We got to talk about this. I have him to show up. You got him to be a shit show.
Yeah,
We got to see how this pans out.
He needs George Pickens to wake up. Freiermuth played okay in their last game against Cincinnati, but he needs his deep threat to pick it up. Otherwise, they're in big trouble. All right, so next, running back.
Running back, I said Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. It's those.
I said Najee
Steelers.
Harris, so it'll be
Yeah.
the same. Yeah.
Yes. So those Steelers they've been less than stellar this season. So the Ravens have a number one run defense in the league. The last time the Steelers faced off against the Ravens, they held both of these to less than 100 combined.
Yeah.
So I think this will be kind of a shit show for that Steelers backfield. That passing game has
Agreed.
got to get going.
That running game's awful, and they're committed to it way too much.
Yeah.
So they need to let him fling the ball around a little bit. Okay, wide receiver. I'll go first this time. I'm going to take Cooper Kupp. I beat up on him a little bit earlier about
Yeah.
the down year that he's having. He is having a down year. If they're going to have any chance, Minnesota is only vulnerable through the pass. We saw that with Jahmyr Gibbs and the seam passes. He had 3 touchdowns by the seam pass. And yeah, if you're going to beat them, that's the way to do it. And they're going to.
Yeah.
So Puka Nacua will have a game. He always does. He's going to have a good game. He's going to have his 8 to 10 catches. He's going to have his 100 yards or so, maybe a touchdown, maybe not. But he's going to need help because they're going to key on him, right? So Cooper Kupp needs to step up, and I don't think he has the ability. I think his career is kind of winding down a little bit.
Okay.
So for you, wide
All right.
receiver.
For me, I went with the Ravens wide receiver. So the Zay Flowers, and actually they're just wide receiver room in general. Actually, and this is before we knew how
So
before I
Bateman.
knew how serious
Yeah.
it was going to be. Right. So Flowers has had a pretty good season. He's a first-time Pro Bowler, I think, this year. However, that knee injury, like we said, against the Browns, if we see him suit up, he will be limited, I think, in his production. So he'll be going up against a very solid Steelers defense, and they've been pretty strong this season. So, which the Ravens wide receiver core has not been at all. They have always struggled in finding a real number one receiver, a real deep threat over there.
been a long
It didn't
time since
pan
they had
out
number
with
one there.
Duvernay.
Yeah.
Bateman is he's hit or miss. Flowers banged up. The passing game could be in real trouble in this matchup. So I'm going with Zay Flowers and just the Ravens wide receiver core in general.
No faith in Isaiah Likely, huh?
So no.
Okay, tight end for you. We can go back to back.
All right, tight end. Dalton Schultz, actually.
Mr.
So,
Big Mouth, Mr. Team of Texas, huh? Yeah.
I know, but the Chargers defend the tight end position very, very well. They have allowed the fewest fantasy points to opposing tight ends. And you know how many touchdowns to opposing tight ends all season?
1.
One. You are correct. So I fully expect that trend to continue against the Texans. It will be a shit show for Dalton Schultz, unfortunately.
I'm going to pick, I had to pick somebody. So I took Pat Freiermuth because I kind of just stuck on this game a little bit.
Okay.
He had a decent game against Cincinnati, actually scored a touchdown, and he had like 80 yards or something like that. But if it turns into a passing game, I might be wrong here, but that's what I picked. All right, on to the defense.
I went with the Rams, the Vikings, right? The Vikings, like I said, suffered a fairly embarrassing loss to the Lions. They're going to be playing with a vengeance. Problem is, like I said, the Rams don't have a shutdown corner. And that offensive, that passing unit over there is just incredible. So, yeah.
I think that Vikings game, that scoreline is a little bit misleading because it didn't start getting funky until like halfway through the third quarter to the end of it. And the Vikings, if they were in the red zone 3 times and they got stopped on fourth down. twice. And then they end up
Okay.
kicking field goals.
Yeah.
If they get it in both of those, that's a totally different game. It's a high scoring game. It's all this, that, and the other. But,
Yeah.
coulda, shoulda, woulda. So, but they didn't. But this game is.
I think they're overmatched.
I think they are.
The Rams,
overmatched.
at least.
Yeah, I think Minnesota is just a better team. Unless
Yeah.
Sam Darnold has some crazy regression type game where, it's
No,
like
I don't
18 for
think that-
30 with, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions, which
I don't see that happening. This-
All right. For me, I stuck with the same game again. Pittsburgh, they gave up over 400 yards and 220
You
of
think
it
the
rushing.
Steelers
Yeah.
to be a shit show? The defense, Joe, come on. Okay.
Yeah. I know the happy
We're
pick
going to talk about this next week.
I know the happy pick
One
would
of
be
us
like-
is going to be eating crow.
would be Green Bay or Denver or something like that. But yeah, that's who I got. Yeah, one of us will be apologizing for sure about that one game. So key on to that late Saturday game.
All right.
All right.